Pocahontas is one of Disney's more controversial films in its large portfolio. I mean, it makes sense. It's historically inaccurate. For as much of a loose adaptation as it is, the music is truly amazing. And let's figure out why. Now, Pocahontas was the movie that started the dynamic duo of Alan Menken and Stephen Schwartz, two musical geniuses in their own right. Alan Menken is the composer that started the Disney Renaissance era with the music of The Little Mermaid, with lyricist Howard Ashman. This brilliant musical pairing went on to make the music for Beauty and the Beast and some of the songs for Aladdin. They also collaborated on the music of Little Shop of Horrors. That doesn't really have anything to do with Disney, but I just really like that musical, okay? Sadly, Ashman passed away a few months before the release of Beauty and the Beast, leaving Disney to look for a new lyricist to partner up with Menken. The man that came to mind was Stephen Schwartz. Schwartz was already a remarkable composer and lyricist in the world of theater, writing the music for shows like Pippin and Godspell, later on making the music for the mega hit that is Wicked, which he never won a Tony for. That got snatched away by Avenue Q, a show about vulgar puppets just trying to get through life. Ironically enough, Robert Lopez, one of the composers of Avenue Q, went on to make the music of Frozen with his wife. Also, Idina Menzel was the original performer for Elphaba and Elsa. Guess it is a small world after all. I digress. Due to the successful collaboration on Pocahontas, Schwartz and Menken would team up again for the music of The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Enchanted, to name a few. I'm curious to know which Menken and Schwartz collaboration is your favorite. Let me know in the comments down below. Much like the other Disney Renaissance films, the music was done a little differently. In most films, the musical score is mainly done in post-production, meaning when most of the filming is already done. However, there are special occasions when the music is done beforehand, like with Joker, but mainly the score is crafted later on. Now, most of the Disney Renaissance films are musicals, meaning that the musical numbers play an important part in crafting the tone of the movie. So the composers had to be signed into the movie from the very beginning, and that's what Schwartz and Menken did.
I really want to tell the story through song and conceive a score that creates a world, that opens up a whole world. And so you can't do that kind of thing just overlaid over another story. You need to be right there from the very beginning.
Menken and Schwartz perfectly understood the art of storytelling through music, and the way these songs are crafted are specifically for an animated feature. Schwartz understood that and crafted his lyrics to work in tandem with the storyboards.
You have to find a way that the camera can be moving, and that usually, particularly in animation, the scenery can be moving. And you know, my joke was that if you're going to write a ballad for a character in animation, she better be going over a waterfall in a canoe.
I mean, that's exactly what happens in Just Around the Riverbend, where something like Colors of the Wind is a little more abstract, letting the storyboard artist take the lyrics and just run with it. Everything was methodically planned out to find visual and musical harmony, and it's really hard to look away from because everything is so captivating. More specifically, what makes Pocahontas' music so alluring? Schwartz is a musical genius. Yes, I know I've already said this, but he's one of the best in the business at crafting songs that tackle complex topics, breaking them down into bite-sized pieces so everyone can understand them.
I like it when I'm able to find a way to say something in an unexpected but very simple way.
If you ask a 5-year-old and a 72-year-old what's the meaning behind Colors of the Wind, most likely they'll come to the same conclusion. You have to understand where others are coming from. His ability to deconstruct complicated themes and write them into songs at their simplest form is mind-blowing. And it truly shocks me to know that this man almost quit show business to become a psychotherapist. He even went back to school and everything. thanks to Menken and the magic of Beauty and the Beast, he returned. And thank goodness he did. Listen, I know that's a reference to Wicked, but like that wouldn't have happened if he would have became a psychotherapist. So like that's crazy. I actually think that his background in psychotherapy actually helps him figure out what stories he likes to tell through his lyrics. It's quite interesting. And I actually think that small contribution alone is why I constantly am listening to his work. Now I know that there's some of you out there that just want a song to make you feel like you want to dance the night away. For me, I just want a song to hit me with a philosophical epiphany. To each their own, I guess. You take Schwartz's simplistic lyrics and pair them up with Menken's music, and it works perfectly. The lyrics break things down and add logic and context to the song, while Menken builds everything up.
What's wonderful is when music takes over and logic has to follow. I like that. You know, it's like really throw that baton really far emotionally and say, now, you know, match it.
That right there is what Alan Menken is so good at, taking a simple motif and then building upon it, adding more depth and dimension the animators can latch onto and add even more detail to a scene. Now, what Alan Menken does specifically well is symbolize different concepts throughout the story, closely to how Sergei Prokofiev uses it in Peter and the Wolf. If you're unaware of what Peter and the Wolf is, it's a fable told by the orchestra, in which every single character is represented by a different instrument. The music of Pocahontas works in a similar way. At the beginning, we're introduced to the Native Americans in English living their lives. And although they live in two completely different ways, they're both represented by the percussion, most specifically the drum. Both drums stand for tradition and security. Stephen Schwartz adds light into this with the lyrics steady as the beating drum. Later on, those same drums come into play. The drums still symbolizing tradition and security, but rigidly so. And Schwartz highlights this again with the lyric, "Now we sound the drums of war." Then we have the protagonist, Pocahontas, who is represented by the flute. Always curious, always asking, where do I go from here? Like, shout out to the people who knew that reference. If you didn't know, Where Do I Go From Here is a song that was in the sequel. Yes, there was a sequel to this film, and no, Stephen Schwartz and Alan Menken did not work on it, but it is still a bop, and if you're feeling a little bit aimless in life, I would go out and give it a listen. Now, what elevates this film even further is Menken's music makes the forest feel alive through the string section, almost as if it's its own character, gently guiding our protagonist. And it adds even more detail that the animators can work towards to make this film feel more dynamic. Small little details make everything better, in my opinion. And the curiosity of the flute pairs beautifully with the string section later on when Pocahontas finally finds her purpose. And it's truly wonderful when all these musical groups mix together. Listen, I know that the song Savages is controversial, but like the beautiful musical blend of this song, it amazes me every time. Like, I honestly truly wish that I knew more about music theory. I don't even think I did justice to what Alan Menken is able to accomplish. So if you know anything about music theory or know of a music theory channel, then like, please let me know. This is one of those subjects that I really want to learn more about. Now, Stephen Schwartz and Alan Menken aren't the only person that contributed to the music. Let's talk about the singer. Now, Pocahontas is one of those movies that has a different voice actress for the princess's singing voice. Pocahontas' speaking voice is done by Irene Bedard, while Pocahontas' singing voice is done by Judy Kuhn. Now, Judy Kuhn is a remarkable Broadway star who was the original Cosette in Les Miserables and Florence in the musical Chess. And although that title sounds extremely boring, I assure you it is not. There is a lot more going on in that play than just people playing chess. Honestly, one of my favorites. Also, Tim Rice, who wrote the lyrics of A Whole New World, wrote the lyrics of the music of Chess. Look at that, we just went on a tangent, but we bring it back to Disney. Anyways, Pocahontas was Judy Kuhn's first voice acting performance. And let me tell you, it's a lot more than her just going in and singing a song.
I didn't realize what incredibly complicated and painstaking process it is and how many layers there are as the thing evolves.
Musicals in general are much more than just characters breaking out into song. No. It's much more than that. Musical numbers and how a character is feeling go hand in hand. Musical theater is grounded in the idea you sing when the emotions are too strong to speak, and when the emotions are too strong for the song, then you dance. This means that anytime Pocahontas breaks into song, she's voicing her whims or her wisdom. Now the challenge lies in the believability of that emotional connection of what that character is feeling. And in Just Around the Riverbed, you can hear Judy Kuhn's excitement for where this crazy river is taking her. And it lets the audience know that Pocahontas is full of wanderlust and she wants to find adventure. And in the same song, when Pocahontas is unsure about which path to take, Kuhn's voice becomes softer, more doubtful. It's Kuhn's acting that enhances the work of Schwartz and Alan Menken. Now, the biggest struggle came in with the song Colors of the Wind. Originally, Stephen Schwartz thought Disney would reject the idea. We thought that Disney Brass would never go for it, because it was much more philosophical and a whole different tone than anything they've ever done before. But they embraced it completely. It's certainly the number I'm proudest of, personally, because it really pushes the boundaries of what animation's done before in terms of psychological complexity, story subtext, and adult connotation. And this right here probably added a little more pressure to Judy Kuhn's performance. She actually stated in her interview that all the Disney execs would line up and give her extensive notes on what they wanted her to improve on take by take, and after countless takes, David Freeman, the musical director, came up to her and was like, forget the notes and just sing the song. Judy Kuhn, being a Tony-nominated actress, understood that emotional connection that this song needed, and from her finding the character by herself, that's the take they used.
The song is so well written and the lyrics are so actable. There's a real, progression, beginning, middle, and end to the song.
Judy's voice fits perfectly for this character, feeling wise, and as Alan Menken said, brings a little earthiness that grounds the song. And it's the beautiful blend that won an Oscar for this song. This wonderful philosophical song is up there at being one of Disney's best it has ever made.
It galvanized Pocahontas. It lifted everything. Colors obviously felt like an important song from an important project.
And I didn't even touch on the dynamic animation side of this song. Honestly, I feel like I could do a whole video just talking about that one song. If that's something you want me to yap about, then let me know in the comments. Listen, I know that this movie has a simple Romeo and Juliet plot that is historically inaccurate, but now more than ever, songs like Colors of the Wind are needed to help us understand others' points of view. As Schwartz states in the song, if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew you never knew. Well, that is all I gotta say about that. I really love animated musicals. Like, I just find them so fascinating from so many different angles. So if you have any other ones you want me to look into, or you think this is good content and you enjoy it, then let me know. If you want to paint the colors of the wind, then why don't you like this video? It helps YouTube know that this channel does indeed exist. And if you're looking for something just around the river bend, then why don't you click on this video right over here. Okay, well, I'll see you when I see you next. All right, bye.